Funny thing about DMing, you can spend the better part of 6 months building up a villain. You drop cryptic prophecies, creepy tavern rumors, and eventually when the party is on the villain's doorstep, listening to his maniacal plan and how they are powerless to stop him, then your party strolls in and folds him like a lawn chair in 2 rounds flat. Boom, done. The dice aren't even cold yet. Everyone's screaming, "Let's go!" And the rogue, for some reason, is already looting the teeth. You need to talk to him about that, it's weird. And you are now left wondering why your apocalypse-level necromancer just died faster than a goblin with asthma. Yeah, been there. And honestly, the knee-jerk reaction that most DMs go to? Bigger numbers, more health, harder hits, maybe slap a flaming sword in their inventory for the fun of it. But that usually backfires in the exact opposite direction of what you want. Instead of creating tension, you end up with one of those marathon-long combats that people are checking their phones by round 7. It's like turning a stale sandwich into a foot-long stale sandwich. It's technically bigger, still stale. See, too many boss fights are built like bar fights. 2 sides walk in, trade damage with each other until someone falls over. That is not memorable. That's just violent math in minis. A real boss encounter, the kind that players talk about months later at 1 a.m. eating cold pizza, feels alive. It's messy, it's dangerous in ways that aren't just numbers based. You want panic, you want split-second decisions. That beautiful little moment where the wizard turns to the party. Wait, oh no. So, 3 things. Maybe 4 depending on how effective this energy drink is. But first, I'm Sir Bearsworth, guiding creators, shaping worlds, and forging heroes. And first off the bat, your villain needs a reason beyond kill the adventurers. Because once the only objective is murder, the whole thing becomes a little predictable. Everybody already knows the script. But change that objective, and now you might actually have the party sweating. Maybe the big bad lich doesn't care about the party at all. They're background noise. What it really wants to do is finish some foul ritual as the moon crosses a certain point in the sky. In about 3 rounds tops. And just like that, every turn matters now. The barbarian wants to rush the lich, the cleric's trying to decipher glowing runes, and meanwhile the rogue is yelling that someone needs to break the crystal before everyone gets fantasy COVID. It's chaos. Wonderful chaos. Or imagine a mind flayer. Not hiding in the shadows doing spooky squid nonsense, but now they're trying to actively broadcast some psychic signal. Meanwhile, its cultists just throw themselves into your way just to buy it more time. Now your players are having to wade through cultists who may or may not want to be there, and you have a different energy entirely. And weirdly enough, players love this stuff because it forces ugly choices. There isn't always a clean answer. Do you burst down the boss? Do you stop the ritual? Rescue the NPC? Or are they gonna have to save their own skin? At this point, it becomes a numbers game in the worst possible way. A lot of for the greater good decisions get made here. Second thing, courtesy of our friends in Japan. Like a classic Final Fantasy villain, give your boss some phases. Listen, generic enemies have their place. And honestly, I don't care how cool the art looks in the monster manual. If your creature is behaving the exact same as it does at full health to no health, your players don't really have to guess what's in their back pocket anymore. Players remember, however, when things escalate. For all of my gamers out there, we all remember the feeling of thinking, wow, we just beat the boss. But after some sick, twisted transformation, now we're fighting a boat? I'm looking at you, Kingdom Hearts. You know what you did. No one's gonna lose their mind over big guy swings axe harder. They're gonna remember the moment that the music changes. The battle arena cracks open and the boss mutates into something horrifying. All of that great power you've been explaining to your players for months is now coming to a head. Or depending on the transformation, multiple. I mean, the Dark Souls games have almost built a religion around this. Your bosses deserve this same level of drama. Picture a knight encased in ugly plate armor. Early in the fight, they're methodical, almost immovable. Their shield is like a wall. They're counterattacking the party, just brutal patience. But then the party cracks open that armor, maybe around that half health mark. And suddenly the whole vibe changes. The knight tears the ruined plate armor off, starts moving faster, more recklessly, like somebody who's decided they are dead anyway. And near the end, now that's the fun bit, maybe they pull out a cursed blade. Maybe the room catches on fire. Maybe every attack they make deals damage to themselves just out of the desperation of it all. And to be quite honest with you, this doesn't need to be perfectly balanced. Some of the best encounters feel a little dangerous around the edges. That unpredictability is going to leave your party with a lasting impression. Real quick, what's your best boss combat tip? Drop it down in the comments below. I'm really happy with how much everyone's been able to just learn from each other down in the comments, so let's keep that train going. And if you want to be the first to know when more of these videos come out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now let's talk about your opening move. This is a personal one that I feel is criminally underrated. This is one I highly recommend if the party's walking in with full resources, full health. Most players walk into the combat with assumptions already in their head. Your tank is gonna get up in the boss's face. The wizard's gonna hang back and bombard it with spells. Initiative happens, and everyone just slots into their roles as planned. Your boss should ruin that immediately. As Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you punch them in the mouth. A beholder shouldn't just hover around waiting to get smacked. Have it rip a chandelier off of the ceiling before initiative has even been emotionally processed. A bandit king? Don't let him duel honorably. Have him drop some sort of explosive device just blasting the party away from each other and doing a good bit of damage. Villains who fight fair are usually dead villains. The best opening moves are gonna force your players to react instead of just following their little pre-written combat encounter. D&D at its core is a game of resources. To get your players sweating, they need to burn through those resources. And the most important thing of all is making those players choose how they use their resources. A player's decisions at full health and full resources is going to be nowhere close to the decisions that they're making at half health and not many resources remaining. Those are the choices that are going to be memorable. Sometimes horrifying, but memorable. Every choice is going to hurt a little, which is exactly what you want. Let me actually give you a quick example, kind of putting all of these things together in one encounter. Since I know most games are lower level at the end of the day, this will be an encounter built for a tier 1 party. And our big bad today is gonna be an ogre. You know, they got layers. Normally, ogres are as exciting as dishwater. A big sack of hit points carrying around a tree trunk. Fine for a low level party, but after that, pretty forgettable. So let's tweak the recipe a little bit. Your level 3 party enters a collapsing stone hall. Dust everywhere. One terrified villager chained to an altar. The ogre chieftain is mid-ritual, muttering in some broken giant dialect. It kind of sounds like a cement mixer chewing gravel, but one thing leads to another and combat starts. The ogre doesn't just charge in. Instead, it points directly at the party wizard. You know, the smarty pants who always stands in the back? The ogre stomps hard enough to trigger a cave-in of this old hall. Rocks fall, deck saves for everyone, a little bit of damage to everyone, and now what's that? Difficult terrain? It's gonna be a lot harder for the party to protect the wizard, especially with the fact that he is on the opposite side of that difficult terrain now. Meanwhile, the ritual continues. 3 rounds until the villager dies, maybe less. So now the party has problems stacked on problems. Rescue the captive? Regroup with the wizard? Stop the ritual? Kill the ogre? Nobody's gonna get to comfortably stand there and just start trading attack rolls. Then phase 2 hits. The party managed to get some good damage on the ogre, but he takes exception to this. Bloodied and furious, the ogre will throw away his club and proceeds to rip a stone pillar out of the floor. And he starts swinging that thing in wide, sweeping arcs, shattering the battlefield itself. Rubble becomes difficult terrain. Cover disappears. The room is physically transforming while the timer keeps ticking. That's not just your everyday ogre encounter anymore. And honestly, that's the whole secret. Boss fights stop sucking the moment you stop treating them as just a giant stat block and start treating it as an evolving creature. Give the villain a purpose. Force impossible choices. Break the player's rhythm early and let the battlefield shift from the momentum of it all. Players rarely remember the damage numbers, unless it was that crazy crit the paladin hit that one time. The party will remember the moments. The paladin barely holding the portal shut with 6 hit points left. The wizard getting trapped on the other side of some rubble. The cleric screaming that there's only 1 round remaining. That sort of thing sticks around for a while. Sometimes for years. Anyway, I'm curious. What's your favorite boss fight tip? I know one of you DMs out there has a tip that puts your party on edge every time, and you love it, don't you? As you should. If you learned and enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you would love to stay tuned for more D&D and DMing tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're rapidly approaching 1,000 subs, and honestly, I am blown away by the support, guys. I feel like I'm saying that every video now, but I'll leave this one here. I'm Sir Bearsworth, guiding creators, shaping worlds, and forging heroes. And I'll see you all at the table. Bye.